What do you think the importance and what percentage do you think people would pay more in order to support local, being Canadian?
10 years ago, they'd probably be willing to spend 20-25% more for Canadian-made product. I honestly believe that. I mean, we were selling lines like, Vresh sold us a line of.
Yep.
I mean, they were quite a bit more expensive than anything on the market, but we absolutely blew it up because of the quality it had, and people knew that it was, it was something that you're going to have. It's an investment.
Yep.
Now today, I think that tolerance is a lot less, obviously, because of the economic times we're facing. So I would say, we're probably in the 10% range. Even that might be a little bit tough because everybody's watching budgets and.
But do you think that that's because that maybe the branding, maybe the made in Canada is not making it to the end user?
Absolutely, sure, yeah.
So
I don't think it's pushed enough. No.
Yeah, yeah, and that's where I think that's where I think it's kind of frustrating that message isn't carried. Like it should almost be like in a new home or a new building. These are the products that are Canadian manufactured. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Just to emphasize that.
So do you think that it would maybe be in the best interest to have almost some kind of a PSA, some kind of an educational video, one of those like informational videos that you have where the guy is scribbling and drawing something and then it flips the page and then he's drawing something else and it's all about like emphasis on Canadian made and like learn more about what goes into your home, and because reaching the consumer, we've proven that in our industry it's relatively tough to take quality mechanical products outside of the shiny fashion stuff like toilets and fixtures.
Well, you know where I would like it to start. Like let's use new home construction as an example, right?
Yeah.
I would say, okay, this is the cost of building your home. This is the cost of building your home if we use these Canadian products.
Right.
Right? And give them an option because it doesn't really change framing. We know all the woods being from Canada. Like we know that there's a lot of bones to the house that are Canadian made, right? Yeah. But if it was like, okay, we're going to change to a Canadian manufactured product, a boiler or a furnace or something like that. And those cost 15% more because to source the products, we pay more because of our weak dollar, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, so it's going to cost you $40,000 more broken out over 25 years. This is what your mortgage payment would be to support Canada.
Yeah.
Do you think that would result in the end user paying 10, 15, 20% more?
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Would you
look at it? I absolutely would.
I mean, especially 100%. If you can have it, like you said, broken down into an individual mortgage payment where the customer can see, okay, it's $32 biweekly for me to pay for everything to be Canadian. Is that worth my time? Is that because at the end of the day, that $32 is indirectly going back into your pocket, in a delayed, stepped out manner because you're supporting the economy. And I think that if people had that option. I know I would pick it even if I couldn't afford it, just because I know that one, if something goes wrong, I can call a tech support line here, and I know that the product is made here, and I know that if I need a replacement, I can have it here, relatively quickly.
Right.
And I know that the organization here that's the key thing. It can be a Canadian company. That's fine, but there's a lot of Canadian companies that don't make product here. Yeah. Like that's a very clear distinction to make. I mean, I worked with an organization that did a bit of both. I worked at Bibby, and I worked, Bibby, which also has the Wade component, the division under which I worked. And the Bibby Sinqua product is made right in Quebec. It's made from scrap, iron. It's a cast iron soil pipe product, phenomenal product, made in Canada. They do a great job of promoting that. But then the other side of their business is, and that's a big theme for the entirety of their of the group, the parent company that they work for. It's all made in Canada, made in U.S. It's an American conglomerate that owns all of these plumbing and waterworks companies. But on the flip side, they also have they also have products and divisions like the Wade, for example, that's pretty much 90% made in China.
Yep.
And that's not just Wade. That's, all the competitors in the marketplace, the Zerns, the MyFab, the Smith, the Watts, everybody's made in, next door plants in China. So it's
So to be competitive, you guys have to source it from the same country with the same labor.
Right? I mean, it becomes that kind of an issue.
But that is wholly why I'm asking the question. I worked for a Canadian manufacturer, and we used to bring contractors out to New Brunswick, and I used to ask them pointed, like, now that you guys know it's Canadian, now you know how it's made, you've seen the people, you know the research and development that's going into it. If I was 10% higher than a non-Canadian product, are you going to buy this product? No, now, what is it value? Like, do you give a shit if it's Canadian or not? Right? Yeah. And everybody would be like, yeah, no, that means a big deal to me. Yes, I'm going to do that. Yeah. Right. And it was like, okay. And then if they ever phoned you and said, well, your price was too high. And you told me that I could be within 10%.